Hello YouTubers, this is Practice Dummy. This video is dedicated towards the members of vpforums.org community that have been having problems with Ball Stutter with VP9. I hope this fix will help you out. First of all, I need to say that I do have a pretty beefy gaming computer which I got VP on, and that I am using an NVIDIA graphics card. This fix is for those that have NVIDIA cards. This fix may help those with the ATI/AMD cards, but I am not at all familiar with the Catalyst drivers and the Catalyst software. So to the best of your ability, try to translate this NVIDIA fix to your AMD/ATI cards. So I apologize up front, but I am an NVIDIA guy. So okay, well, here goes. Okay, first of all, go ahead and start up Visual Pinball 9, and then we want to go to Preferences and select Video Options. Now, the absolute worst case scenario for you, if this fix still does not help your ball stutter, you'll want to change video mode from full screen to windowed. If you got at least a modern mid-range card, or possibly a 2 to 3 generations old or later high-end card, you should be able to have full screen and do most, if not all, of these settings without any issue whatsoever. Just for the sake that you do have a decent card, make sure your video mode is on full screen and select the resolution that your monitor handles. In my case, my monitor is 1920 by 1080, and I think VP has done away with the times 16-bit mode, at least for full screen. The option may be there for windowed mode, but I've never needed to use windowed mode. So okay, but after you selected, your monitor resolution, okay, make sure enabled software FXAA is disabled. This is essentially for those with budget cards. The newest budget cards might be able to handle the hardware rendering that VP9 offers as an option, but I have no true way of testing that out. My one computer with a budget card, I'm just simply not going to put VP on. That's simply laziness on my part, and I'll admit to that. Okay, ball aspect ratio. This shouldn't affect performance at all on modern computers. In my case, I just stretched the ball with table. Whatever you want to set this to is up to you. This doesn't affect performance. Okay, ball rendering. I disabled draw ball shadows, but that's personal preference. That's not a performance thing. Ball decals and anti-aliasing ball should not affect performance enough to uncheck mark either one of those, so have those check marked. And if you want ball shadows, that's just personal preference where I have it unchecked. Go ahead and check mark that if it's not already check marked for you. Okay, under performance and troubleshooting, you want to check mark hardware device rendering. This is where your video card handles the rendering of VP. Now, as I said, this works for VP9. VP8 does not have this option, as it was strictly processor rendered. So kudos to the VP dev team for creating VP9 and the hardware device rendering. It is a godsend. Region updates, have that check marked. As of VP 9.15, the VP dev team, I believe, had fixed the problem where region updates was an issue with earlier versions of VP 9. So you should be safe to have that check marked. Adaptive VSync, no reason not to have that check marked, so go ahead and have that check marked. Blitz status, that you can absolutely ignore. It is dangerous for anybody to have any other version of Windows before Windows XP. And a heads up for you XP and Vista users, as of April, at the very latest November, but Microsoft is talking about April of 2014, Windows XP and Windows Vista will no longer be supported, and that means security updates, bug fixes, whatnot. So you need to be at least a Windows 7 at that time. But Blitz status, this should be a non-factor. I don't even know why this is even in there. If you're running something older than XP, it just blows my mind on why you'd be using Millennium 98 Second Edition and beforehand. So, personal opinion only. Reorder playfield. This is for those that have the ATI/AMD graphics cards. You'll probably want to have that check marked. That handles. There's a graphical glitch with VP as far as ATI and AMD. I think the VP devs are gearing VP for use with NVIDIA, but they do have that fix in there for AMD/ATI cards. Okay, here we go with max texture dimension, and this the settings here will be dependent on how good your graphics card is. If you have an older mid-range card, you probably want to set that to 1024. If you have a newer mid-range card, something in the 600 series or maybe the 700 series, why people have a mid-range card is beyond me. An older high-end card would be better. You'd be better off with. But if you have a newer mid-range card, hit the 2048, you should still be fine with that. If you have a higher end cards from the 560 line on up, unlimited should be the option for you. You should not have any problems at that point. If anybody's got a 400 series card and is able to set to unlimited without a problem, feel free to chime in on this. I have not tested these settings for anything before the 500 series. Okay, alpha ramp accuracy. For me, I've got a GTX 670 FTW card, so I can set this all the way to the right without a problem. If you have a high-end card and having a bit of an issue, go ahead and set this one notch to the left. Some VP4 members have found that just setting it one notch to the left helps with performance issues. So unless you got a super high-end beefy card like me, not putting you down, mind you, just doing this out of lighthearted humor here, so you got to get to know me better. But if you have a high-end card that somehow does not handle that, just set it one tick to the left and you should be fine. Okay, that should be all as far as the settings go in VP9. What you want to do is you want to go ahead and exit out, because when you change the settings here, coming to the control panel, which first of all you must come to the control panel, but when you change the settings in the NVIDIA control panel, which we'll get to, you got to make sure you have closed out of VP9 before you change any settings in order for the settings to take place. Okay. So we go ahead and go to the control panel. Now I have I have Windows 8, but I put in a program called Start Is Back, so it looks like Windows 7. So do that. Now when you go to the control panel, the first thing you want to do is you want to select small icons or even large icons, but do not do category view because I cannot help you in that regards. So select to either the large or small icons. Then you go ahead and look for NVIDIA control panel, and again, this is for those that have NVIDIA cards. ATI, you might have an option for the Catalyst Control Center, so you'll probably have to select that. And as I said, I'm gearing this for NVIDIA cards. You'll just have to do your best if you have an AMD/ATI card. Okay, go ahead and go into the NVIDIA control panel setting, and then go to Manage 3D Settings. Click on that, and what will probably appear first should be the global settings. Some of you may have the Program Settings tab showing up, but the first thing we'll want to do is the global settings, and I'm doing you a favor right here. Scroll down to Multi-Display Mixed GPU Acceleration. And for the most of you, unless you got cabinets or you have multiple monitors, then you change that to multiple display performance mode. But for the rest of you that have single displays, change the setting to single display performance mode, and this is under the global settings tab here, and change that to single display performance mode. And before you click the apply button, come down to power management mode, and this is for everybody. Set it to prefer maximum performance. Then click the apply button that will show down here. I've already changed these settings, so you won't see the button on my part, but you'll see it on yours. But change that power management mode to prefer maximum performance. This is, unless you are running some real El Cheapo budget computer that all you're doing is browsing, there is no reason not to set that to prefer maximum performance. I mean, this is just a joke. It should automatically be maximum performance as is. I mean, if you get a dedicated graphics card, you don't want to do adaptive under any circumstances. I mean, it messes with the performance of games and graphics process of intensive task like video rendering, where like I'm using Sony Vegas, and it allows you to use your graphics card to do some of the processing with. And you do not want that set on anything other than maximum performance. My opinion, but this is just true. Just change the setting. You'll thank me. Okay, now we go to the Program Settings tab, and then I already have VP 9.15 in, already in here, but you may not have it for yourself. So what you do is you click the Add button, and it'll take a moment at first, but after that, after you run that once, it'll click on automatically for you. But it'll take about a few seconds, and the screen will pop up, and then you'll have a list of programs. And in my case, I have it sorted by recently used. You can also select to set the A to Z, or if you're really screwball, set it to Z to A. But go down the list and find Visual Pinball and select it, and then click Add Selected Program. Now, some of the settings I've already changed up myself, and it took me a while to figure out a little issue I was having. I'll explain down the road on this. But once you have VP9 selected, and it's the selected program out of your list, first things we're going to go ahead and change. And now I want to qualify up front that my card can handle the settings that I've got this at. You may need to play around with this depending on the type of card you have. Okay, first thing we want to do is anisotropic filtering. I got a beefy high-end card, so I set it to 16 times. You can change that to off or application controlled. This I don't think really affects the anisotropic in VP. This is simply optional. My card can handle this. I set it to here. Anti-aliasing FXAA, I set it to on. This is another thing that depends on your card, whether or not the performance will change according to that. But the first one may. I would have to consult with the VP dev team about the anisotropic filtering and anti-aliasing FXAA, if this truly affects performance or not. But this is my settings on that. Anti-aliasing gamma correction, I set it to on. This here I don't think affects performance as far as the setting goes, because VP itself does not have a gamma setting. I just simply like to use my default NVIDIA settings on this, so you could leave that off and be okay, or leave it on the global setting and shouldn't affect anything. Anti-aliasing mode, now this is the option that I had it on override any application setting, but what happens was I was playing like Future Spa, for example, then I switched over to Embryon, the one with the all blue lighting setting, and as I had it on the override any application setting, and when I switched over, I didn't exit out of VP, but I switched over from one table to the next, the flippers had disappeared. And so what I discovered out of some trial and error that that the override any application setting on anti-aliasing mode, and it'll run one table great, but when I switch to the next table, it would make the flippers disappear. So what you could do is you can exit out VP, start it back up, and then start the table where the flippers disappeared and the flippers reappeared. But if you want to avoid that headache, just select Enhance the Application Setting, and that will work fine and dandy for the whole deal. And that's what corrected the problem for me, or at least after I'd done a few test runs. And that worked. Now, anti-aliasing setting will be grayed out if you're using Enhance the Application Setting. That is fine. Don't sweat it. All these settings help with the anti-aliasing a bit on VP. So your table should look fine. Okay, so that is grayed out. Anti-aliasing setting is grayed out. Anti-aliasing transparency, I didn't see any difference myself as far as this setting goes, but toy around and see if you see anything or not. If so, let me know. I have no problem with constructive criticism on my video, but I just went ahead and put on 8 times super sample. You could very well leave it off, or maybe just multi-sample if you got lower end cards, and you'll be okay. CUDA GPUs global setting on. This doesn't affect VP as long as you got one card set for doing the rendering and got hardware rendering check marked in VP. That's all you need on that. Maximum pre-rendered frames, I got it set to 4. I don't think VP utilizes this. Again, I could be corrected on that as far as that goes, but for the heck of it, you've got a beefy card, set it on 4. What the heck? No harm, no foul. Okay, these two settings we already changed to multi-display, mixed GPU, and the power management mode we changed on the global settings. Highly recommended on the global settings, so don't have to change those if you change them in the global settings, which you should have. If you didn't, go back to global settings and change these settings to 1. If you don't have a cabinet or multi display, change this to single display performance. Power management mode, everyone should change this to prefer maximum performance totally. No excuses. Don't give me any BS changing it to adaptive mode. No excuse for that. That should not even be an option. Okay, next is texture filtering anisotropic sample option. I set it to on myself. I don't think this matters in VP. VP mode, VP9, I do not think uses anisotropic video options on it, as far as I know. I could be corrected by the VP dev team or some knowledgeable member. Feel free to correct me on that, but I'm pretty sure VP doesn't use anisotropic filtering, as far as I know. Maybe that'll be an option in the future. God willing, it will be. Okay, texture filtering quality, I set it to, whoops, I want to set that to high quality because I can. But texture filtering, you can set it to whatever your card can handle. My card is high quality, of course, and that's how it goes. Texture filtering, trilinear optimization. Again, depends on your card. I don't know the full extent of how much this affects VP, but my card can handle it regardless, so I just set it to on. Threaded optimization, leave that on auto. VP does not use threading as of right now. Even with a multi-core processor, it uses a single core. That may change in future iterations of VP9. I applaud the VP dev team for all they have done for VP, so I'm not going to nag on them at all about the threaded optimization part. Okay, triple buffering. This applies to all games in general and not just VP. This has very little performance very little performance hit on your computer, so you could safely have that on for everything. That should be a global setting right there and won't be a problem there. And vertical sync, yeah, you want that, if you got the global setting to on, okay. I just went ahead and set that to on. And there we go. Then go ahead and click apply, and everything should be fine and dandy on that. So we're going to go ahead and open up, and I'll go ahead and just show you an example on the VP. And of course the frame rate will only be about 30 frames a second. The ball will seem jittery, but that is because of YouTube. That is not because of VP. Your ball will be working a lot smoother than that. So we'll start up a game, and then I'll go ahead and show you that and yeah, I got this on pretty loud, but my ball is running smoothly. You probably won't be able to see this on YouTube because it's running at 30 frames a second and not at 60 plus frames. That you will see. And that should take care of the issue right there. And now, go ahead and show you that that one deal is fixed with Emery on. That I had to, on that one anti-aliasing setting, and the flippers are there. The flippers had disappeared when I had that setting to something else other than
Embryon 3 ball.
And we'll go ahead and just
Incubator functional.
I still have a little aliasing on that flipper there, but that could be fixed if I change that one setting. That has to do with the anti-aliasing mode, and then do the override application settings, and then I can set the anti-aliasing mode to whatever on the control panel. But that ends up to where you have to restart the computer, or restart VP9 every time you want to switch a table. So that is set. In essence, should take care of the Ball Stutter Fix for you. I hope that helps you out and get things running smoothly for VP. And this being my technically my third video. My second video was to show the fix for the Flipper Disappearance Act, but in essence I had screwed up the settings to where I ended up getting the ball stutter again. So technically this is my third video, but this is a redo of the first video. Alright, God bless you one and all. Hope this helps you out. And as I said, the last resort you should do is to change the VP settings to from full screen to windowed mode. But that should never happen. Alright, take care guys. Hope this helps you out. God bless you one and all.